I bought an $8 million industrial company for $0. How I fixed the cash trap that kills 90% of businesses. Everyone on the internet wants to sell you drop shipping, crypto, or AI agency. They want you to look cool. But let me tell you a secret that the top 1% know. Looking cool keeps you poor. Being boring makes you rich. I'm going to tell you the story of how I bought a rusty, unsexy industrial maintenance company, a business that fixes air conditioners in factories for $0 out of my own pocket. The company was doing $8 million in revenue, but was bleeding cash. The owner was 65 years old, tired and terrified of bankruptcy. 18 months later, I exited that same company for a $12 million valuation. I didn't invent a new app. I didn't create a new technology. I simply fixed the economics of a boring business. In the next 25 minutes, I'm going to give you a masterclass on distressed M&A, mergers and acquisitions. I will show you the exact contract clauses, the management scripts, and the pricing formulas I used. Put your phone away. This is the stuff they don't teach in MBA school. How do you find a company doing $8 million that you can buy for free? You look for pain, not profit. I found Apex Industrial Services on a generic business listing site. The listing was terrible. No photos, just revenue numbers and a vague description. Owner retiring, motivated seller. Motivated is code for desperate. I met the owner, Bob, at a diner. Bob looked like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders. He had 40 technicians, 25 trucks, and 500 active contracts. "I'm done," Bob said. "My wife wants to move to Florida. My kids don't want the business. The bank is calling me every day about our line of credit. I just want out." I looked at his financials, the P&L. Revenue, $8 million. Impressive. Net profit, minus $200,000. Disaster. Bob was working 80 hours a week to lose money. He wasn't owning a business. The business owned him. Most investors would run away. They see a loss. I saw bloat. I saw a company that was poorly managed, not a company that had a bad market. Factories always need their AC fixed. The demand wasn't the problem. The operations were the problem. Here is the lesson. You don't pay for past performance. You pay for future potential, but you structure it based on current risk. Bob wanted $4 million for the company. I told him, "Bob, your company is losing money. It's worth $0 on paper. Actually, it's worth less than $0 because of the debt." He got angry. "I spent 30 years building this." "I know, and I want to preserve your legacy, but no bank will lend me money to buy a losing company, so you have to be the bank." I proposed a 100% seller finance deal, vendor takeback. Here was the offer structure. Pay attention, this is how you buy businesses with no money. Purchase price, $3 million, on paper to satisfy his ego. The down payment, $0. The earnout, I will pay him 20% of the net profit for the next 7 years until the $3 million is paid off. The kicker, I assumed the $2 million in existing bank debt immediately. He hesitated. "What if you fail?" he asked. "If I fail," I said, "you get the business back. You keep your legacy. But right now, you're driving toward a cliff. Let me take the wheel." He signed the papers 3 days later. I owned Apex Industrial. I hadn't spent a dime, but I had just inherited a $200,000 a year burn rate. Walking into that office the first day was like walking into a war zone. The phones were ringing off the hook, but nobody was answering. The dispatch whiteboard was covered in red marker, missed appointments, angry clients. I went to the break room to meet the technicians. These were tough guys, blue collar, greasy hands, skeptical of a suit like me. The lead technician, a guy named Rick, spat on the ground. "Great, another owner. You gonna cut our pay too?" I realized immediately the culture was toxic. Bob had been so stressed about money that he was squeezing the employees. He hadn't bought new tools in 5 years. He delayed their overtime checks. They were stealing time. They were taking 2-hour lunches. They were doing side jobs with company vans. I checked the GPS logs. Truck number 14 was parked at a residential house for 4 hours. We don't do residential. Truck number 9 was at a fishing lake. We were bleeding cash because our labor efficiency rate was below 40%. For every $100 we paid in wages, we were only billing the client $40. You cannot fix a business with spreadsheets. You have to fix it with psychology. I had to stop the bleeding instantly, or I would be personally bankrupt in 60 days. I knew I couldn't fire everyone. I needed them to do the work. I had to flip their mindset from hourly employees to profit hunters. I implemented a radical compensation system called the Performance Pay Grid that terrified my accountant, but ended up tripling our efficiency in 1 week. Here is exactly how that math worked. Here is the fundamental problem with most service businesses: the misalignment of incentives. I was paying my technicians $30 an hour. If they finished a job in 2 hours, they got paid $60. If they dragged it out to 6 hours, they got paid $180. I was literally paying them to be slow. I was financially rewarding laziness. And because they were slow, we could only do 2 jobs a day per truck. I needed to flip the script. I needed them to want speed as much as I did. I spent all night designing a new compensation model. I called it the Efficiency Grid. The next morning, I called a meeting. Rick, the grumpy lead technician, was standing there with his arms crossed, ready to fight. I drew a grid on the whiteboard. "Gentlemen," I said, "right now you make $30 an hour no matter what. That ends today. From now on, your hourly rate is determined by your billable efficiency score." I explained the math. Base pay, $20 per hour. This is the safety net. Tier 1, 80% efficiency. If you bill 32 hours in a 40-hour week, your pay jumps to $35 per hour retroactively for the whole week. Tier 2, 100% efficiency. If you bill 40 hours in a 40-hour week, your pay jumps to $45 per hour. Tier 3, 120% efficiency. If you finish jobs faster than the quoted time, you get $55 per hour. The room went silent. They were doing the math. At $30 per hour, they were making $1,200 a week. At Tier 3, $55 per hour, they could make $2,200 a week. I looked at Rick. "Rick, you're the best mechanic here. You can finish a 4-hour job in 2 hours. Why should you get paid the same as the guy who takes all day? Under this system, you can make $100,000 a year." Rick's arms uncrossed. He looked at the board, then at me. "You serious?" "Dead serious," I said. "But you have to stop fishing and start fixing." What happened next was fascinating. 3 technicians quit on the spot. They knew they were lazy, and they knew they would starve on the $20 base pay. I let them go. Good riddance. But the rest, they turned into Ferraris. Instead of driving slowly to job sites, they were rushing. Instead of 2 jobs a day, they were doing 4 or 5. Within 14 days, our labor efficiency rate shot up from 40% to 95%. We didn't need to hire more people. We just unlocked the hidden capacity of the people we already had. But we had another problem. Even though we were doing more work, we were still barely breaking even. Why? Because of the pricing trap. I pulled the contracts. Apex Industrial hadn't raised its prices in 7 years. Bob, the old owner, was terrified that clients would leave, so he kept prices flat while inflation, gas, and insurance costs skyrocketed. We were charging $85 per hour for labor. Our fully burdened cost, wages plus taxes plus insurance plus gas plus truck lease, was $82 per hour. We were making $3 per hour profit. 1 flat tire and we lost money for the month. I told my office manager, "Draft a letter. We are raising prices across the board." "How much?" she asked. 20%, I said. "New rate is $105 per hour." She nearly fainted. "Sir, we will lose all our clients." This is where you need business balls.
I explained the unit economics to her. If we raise prices by 20% and we lose 20% of our clients, we actually make more profit with less work. We sent the email to all 500 clients. Subject, 2024 rate adjustment and service upgrades. We didn't apologize. We framed it as an upgrade. To maintain our new 4-hour response guarantee, thanks to our new fast technicians, our rate is now $105 per hour. I waited by the phone, sweating. I expected mass cancellations. Monday morning came. Client A called. Fine, just fix the AC. Client B called. Okay, send the invoice. Client C called. This is too high. We cancel. Result? We lost 10% of our clients, the cheap ones who complained anyway. We kept 90%, but our revenue on that 90% went up by 20%. And that entire 20% increase was pure net profit. Overnight, the company went from losing $15,000 a month to making $40,000 a month. We had fixed the operations, we had fixed the pricing, we were profitable on paper. But then a new disaster struck, one I didn't see coming. We had done too much work too fast. We had billed $500,000 in invoices, but clients weren't paying for 60 days. We had $0 in the bank for payroll this Friday. I was technically rich, but liquidly bankrupt. How did I survive the growth death trap using a financing tool called invoice factoring?
We fixed the business model. We were efficient, high-priced, and highly profitable. Our P&L showed we made $40,000 net profit last month. But it was Thursday, and we needed $50,000 to cover payroll and supplier payments on Friday. Our bank account balance? $12,000. This is the growth death trap. When you grow too fast, you bleed cash. We had $500,000 sitting in accounts receivable, money our customers owed us, but we had to pay our bills now. The delay was killing us. I was technically rich, but liquidly bankrupt. I called the bank, but since the company had a history of losses, they refused to lend us money against our invoices. I was stuck. I reached out to an invoice factoring company. Invoice factoring is simple. You sell your invoices to a third-party company at a discount to get cash today. It's expensive, but it saves your life. I gave them the $500,000 in invoices. They checked the creditworthiness of my big factory clients. They were solid. The deal? They advanced us 80% of the invoice value immediately, minus a 3% fee. Cash received, $400,000, 80% of $500K. Fee, $15,000, 3% of $500K. I wired the $400,000 to the bank account. Payroll was covered. We survived the Friday deadline. Factoring is a financial band-aid, but it saved the business. It created the cash flow bridge we needed to survive the 60-day lag. We used it for 3 months, stabilized the cash, and then cut them off. The lesson? Never confuse profit, P&L, with cash, balance sheet. Cash is the oxygen. Now that we were profitable, I had to ensure our revenue was predictable, protected, and scalable. In the HVAC and maintenance business, everyone makes money from emergency breakdowns, but that revenue is volatile and expensive, high stress, long drives. The real wealth is in maintenance contracts, service agreements. I shifted our sales team's focus entirely. Their new job was to convert one-off emergency clients into one-year recurring maintenance contracts. The offer to the factory? Instead of paying $105 an hour for a breakdown, pay us a flat rate of $1,200 per month for preventative maintenance on all 10 cooling units. This guarantees discounted parts, guaranteed monthly inspection, 4-hour emergency response SLA. The factory loved it. Why? Their CFO doesn't want surprise bills. They want predictable monthly expenses. This single shift changed our valuation trajectory. We converted 50% of our top clients to contracts.
Now, we had a guaranteed $150,000 in revenue hitting our bank account on the first of every month, whether we did the work or not. They paid for the guarantee. This recurring revenue stream did two things. It gave us perfect predictability for hiring and buying. Crucially, it made the company highly attractive to buyers. Investors pay a huge premium for subscription revenue. We had transformed the company from a chaotic, transactional business into a predictable, subscription-based engine. We had stabilized the cash, secured the revenue, and minimized risk. I now needed to make the business grow without relying on my own time. The only way to scale a service business is through technology and systems. I integrated a simple, cheap field service management software, FSM, that automatically assigned jobs, tracked profits per job, and generated contracts. How did this simple piece of software eliminate the need for an operations manager and add an extra $500,000 to the company's valuation?
When I took over, the entire business ran through Bob's head. Bob was the dispatcher, the lead estimator, and the quality controller. If Bob got sick, the company stopped. This meant the business was unsellable. Buyers don't buy a job, they buy a system. My goal now was to build a system where the revenue was predictable and the operations were automated. I needed to replace Bob's brain with software. I introduced Field Service Management Software, a simple, cloud-based platform costing just $500 a month. Here is what the FSM software automated. Job assignment. A new emergency call comes in. The software automatically assigns the job to the nearest, most efficient technician based on the efficiency grid score, who has the right parts on his truck. Billing. Once the technician closes the job on his tablet, the invoice is automatically sent and the time is logged against the technician's efficiency grid score. No more manual data entry. Predictive maintenance. The system flagged when a contract was due for renewal or when a cooling unit was due for inspection. It sold the next service automatically. The beauty of this automation was that it made the operations manager redundant. Before, we needed a manager to chase technicians, create invoices, and check on job statuses. That manager cost us $80,000 a year. With the FSM system, the technicians reported directly to the software, and the software enforced the rules, the efficiency grid. We eliminated the $80,000 salary, turning it into $80,000 of pure profit. We had successfully built a machine that ran itself. The business was now turnkey. It could be managed remotely with weekly financial check-ins. After 18 months, Apex Industrial was a machine. Revenue, $12 million. High margin. Net profit, $1.2 million. 10% margin on predictable contracts. Management, fully automated. I put the company up for sale. The perfect buyer wasn't another mechanic. It was a large private equity group who specialized in rolling up boring, profitable service businesses. They sent their due diligence team. They looked for risk. Risk 1, labor efficiency. I showed them the efficiency grid reports. Our technicians were performing at 95%, which was 2x the industry average. Risk mitigated. Risk 2, customer churn. I showed them the recurring revenue contracts. 50% of our revenue was locked in for 12 months. Risk mitigated. Risk 3, owner dependence. I showed them the FSM software. I said, you can manage this company from a beach. Risk mitigated. The private equity group didn't buy the trucks or the tools. They bought the predictability. They bought the systems I created. They valued the company at 10 times its net profit. They offered me $12 million. Since the original $3 million seller note was performance-based, I paid it off using the sales proceeds. I sold the company I bought for $0 out of my pocket for $12 million in 18 months. Final takeaways and mindset shift. This is the ultimate secret of building wealth through business acquisition. Buy a broken system, not a broken market. Find a company with high revenue but bad management. The market must be stable, like fixing factory ACs. Incentivize behavior, don't supervise. Use math, the efficiency grid, to align your employees' self-interest with the company's profitability. Revenue is noise, predictability is gold. Convert transactional sales into recurring contracts. This makes your business look like a subscription service, and subscriptions are valued 3 times higher than regular sales. Stop chasing the spotlight. Go fix something essential and broken. That's where the real money is made.